Welcome back. This is my day 5 progress, and all I did today was refill the shocks so that they're top back off. I put 30 weight in it. Probably need 40 weight because this is probably going to be about a 7 to 8 pound rig. Also, I added my anti-unloader straps that I put on all of my trucks. I make these, and it's kind of, I don't know how to say how much pressure you're supposed to put on them because I just go by feel, whatever it takes. But what these do is they keep constant tension on the spring so that the spring just can't unload. When you reach a certain point on a side hill, the truck is so far sideways, the weight is no longer pushing down this way, it's pushing sideways because the truck is literally tipped up so much. Well, at the point where the weight is no longer pushing down, the spring, if there was nothing to prevent it from doing so, would end up pushing up higher, and the entire chassis would lean more and more, and at some point it's going to lean enough that where initially it could hold a side hill, as the spring unloads, it'll just dump it over. So what this does is it prevents it from continuing to unload. So in a way it's good, in a way it's bad. The reason it's good is you can go at a much steeper angle. The way it's bad is you don't have as much warning when the truck starts to tip over, because this normally you can tell when it starts to tip over because you see this start happening. The spring extends. Well, with these roll rate limiters, it prevents that, and the truck will just tip over before it fully extends the shock. You do get quite a bit more side hill performance out of it though, and that's one of the great things. I don't have these bands so tight that you won't get full articulation. You can still get it. If I lift the back of the truck up, you can see that it still has full extension. The band is not so tight that it keeps the shock from going to full extension. I just want it to not unload while it is doing a side hill, if that makes any sense. So it still will give the, suppose I'm climbing and I need to have full droop to get over an obstacle, it still can have full droop. All I'm doing is limiting the roll on a side hill. So on my Traxxas, I have it a little bit steep, a little bit more tension, and I use a different material for that. And the theory behind the Traxxas is, if I'm climbing, I don't want this suspension to fully unload. I want those bands to hold it about here so that it cannot unload, because if it unloads during a climb, it's going to tip over at an earlier angle, probably 3 to 5 degrees earlier than if it's held down by something. So being a longer wheelbase truck, I think I want this to be able to fully unload if it needs to. So I'm going to sacrifice a little bit of climb performance just so that I can have frame clearance. I may need full droop to get over an obstacle, but like I said, this will prevent this thing from unloading during a side hill, because you can see that it holds it down, it drops it suddenly. You've seen this before in some of my videos, but now you've seen it on the 10.3, and I anticipate this thing just killing it once it's out there. It's going to do really good straight out of the box. So testing is going to be fun. It's just more of a verification than test and tune. So the weather's not supposed to be great here in Iowa this weekend, but if it is, I'll be out there. Tomorrow, in the next video, all I'm going to do is, well, I'm pretty much done with this truck. So the last thing I'm going to do is install the receiver and set all the endpoints, and at some point I'm also going to order a new bumper for it. This bumper is pretty horrible. It's got broken pieces here, and it just doesn't fit the truck well. So something that's a little more flush so I get a better approach angle. That's all for tonight. Have a great day tomorrow. We'll talk to you later.